you have increased your cash flow. Would somebody like to share with us today?
Well, Mrs. Lambert, I will go first.
Okay.
I had my first presentation or setup this weekend at an event.
Yes. Yes.
I found it to be quite invigorating.
Okay.
I took notes and I found out where I may need to make some improvements and things of that nature. I realized your tablecloth that you use for your table cannot be big enough. It can be too little, but you can never have it too big. So, in the future, I'll keep that in mind. And
okay.
so we're going to have some more things on displays and everything this weekend. I'm looking forward to, but I think I did pretty good, for, a man. We don't have those little nuances that women have, but, I didn't have the glitter and all the little, tape and everything around, but I did okay.
Well, that's great. It looked good. And like you said, one of the things even a few weeks ago when I did a presentation, yes, take note, see where you can improve, what you need to do for the next time, and keep going, keep building. The main thing you was able to get your business out there, your products, make it known. Great job, Scott. Anyone else would like to share with us? Okay, I would just like to share that I had to go back to the drawing board in the sense that, a couple of months ago, my husband was in the hospital, which we incurred some medical expenses. So I had to go back in. We had to strategize how we thank God for insurance, but there's a balance. How we going to be able to, or how we going to go about paying these medical expenses without interrupting our plans for vacation, that type of thing. Just thank God for myEcon and the software and the strategy and the ability to make things happen, put things into place. And it's great with what we're having to talk about tonight. Our training is concerning record keeping. That is so important, even being able to make the documentation to use on my Schedule A. So it's about the business. Every day is about the business. So sometimes it may not be about cash flow per se, but it's about still not losing money, because you can, if you don't properly plan, then you can interrupt something else. So that's what I've been doing this week. So exciting, paying bills. But thank God. Thank God we had an opportunity. We can pay the bill. Anybody else?
Sound like you ready for church.
Yes, ma'am. Well, one thing about it, I didn't have to take my tithe and offering to pay my bills. No.
Hey. Ain't
Tell the Lord,
right?
thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Won't he, Willie?
Yes, he will.
Hey, I better not get y'all started. Anybody else?
Well, I can say, Go ahead.
Go on, honey.
I'm sorry. I can say that after I got the rooms for the AIM convention through the website,
yes.
I'm working now on getting the contract, because you have to send that contract in to Priceline.
Okay.
And working now to get the contract as it stands. Once they get the contract, I stand to make, even if it's at just $3 little payout, the lowest payout, at least $1,000 off of those hotels. So
that's right.
Contract. And I was also hired to do the logo for the National Church.
Oh,
and
my
I was
goodness.
compensated for that. And then I was talked to, somebody called me yesterday as it relates to another area, with the graphic arts. And
right.
that check is coming from the evangelism department. So I just appreciate the Lord, because if I had never opened my mouth about my business and what it is that I
That's
do.
right.
I wouldn't have even had the opportunity for the logo and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like had a domino effect just because I talked about my business to one person. But it was the right person. So I just thank the Lord for that, because I might be able to pay some of my bills, Sister Lou.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, you sure can sleep better. You can take a nap when Scott take a nap.
I know that's right.
Any time of the day. Just feel free.
And not because you've been bad.
That's right.
Anyone else would like to share before we move forward? And see all the great things that myEcon pulls out of you, just lying dormant there, just pull it out of you. Anybody else? Okay. Do we have any guests on the call tonight? If not, we'll hear about the announcement later concerning reminding everybody, hopefully some more will join us concerning the upcoming meeting. And what we're going to do tonight, we're going to move forward. Yes. Would you like to introduce yourself? Did someone just join us? Okay. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to move forward with our training on record keeping. Miss Clarissa Pace is back with us. Thank God. She's been through the storm and the rain, but I think she made it.
Oh, but she made it. I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. Wait a minute.
Miss EVP Gold. She's been a member from the beginning. Thank God. She and her husband has been with the company the 12 years that it has been established. And they are the owner and operator of Shekinah Services, LLC. We know Miss Pace as a published author, and she has so many dreams and ambitions embedded within her spirit that she's going to bring forth. She may even worry 2 or 3 of us, but she's going to bring it forth. And I'm just crazy enough to believe she will make it. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn it over into the hand of Mrs. C.L. Pace, that she will come forward and train us on tonight concerning a very important aspect of our business and building business, and that is record keeping. Mrs. Pace.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
It is good to be back in the South. And I am so proud of everybody's accomplishment. I know that there are some quiet people on here that have talked to me and have made some accomplishments. I mean, you got to know when your real successes have been made, and success is not the stars in the sky. Success is your step-by-step progress. And that's what we celebrate tonight, is because there are small steps that grow into big steps. You know, Teresa didn't say anything, but I saw her stepping out to advertise her business through Facebook. When I see stuff like that, I know that people's minds have been transformed, and they're truly making an effort to work their business, which is something RS wants to see. He has proof, even if anybody doesn't click. Then I saw Miss Nichols, Marvestine Nichols, who was actually out and about, and she was actually working her business. I think what she said on the baseball field and sharing that. You know, these are successes. These are successes. When you wake up and you can move forward, these are our successes that we embrace and we are excited about. And so I like what Miss Yarbrough said. It was something that she did. I was gonna I didn't feel that she mentioned something that happened with her that I heard her say, but I'll go back to it when I think about it. But this is what we are about. I hope that many of you got a chance to go take a look. That wore me out, that one video this morning. So y'all do me a favor, go watch the video. But I hope you guys go have watched that video and you really took it to heart. Some things. I thought it was very powerful, not in my glorifying in myself, but in the information itself. So this time that I've been down, I just wish sometime I could go down and I wouldn't have to do all this dreaming and all this vision and all this understanding come to me. But y'all get a chance to get it when I go down, boy, does God pour out and all this other stuff. So I'm just sharing that this year, and I'm excited for everybody that's here. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet. Yeah, I said y'all because I'm from Arkansas, but you haven't seen anything yet. It's my endeavor to empower everybody around me as much as to reach my own successes. So, with that being said, I want to give my update real quick before I go into the training. And then I want to give you two things to make note of personally that you might need to check into, okay? And as things happen with me, I'll be sharing them with you because this is my field. But one of the things I experienced since I've been down, and I experienced it even when I play, but it's just so exciting and rejuvenating to look down at your phone and you making money. Like, that's residual income. Like, everybody, says, oh, she's a workaholic, she's a this. And I try to explain to people, I'm not a workaholic at all. I love to play. I just work at different hours than most people do. And then I can set my time and my hours, and I just happen to get on y'all nerves when y'all be done got off from work. But in actuality, to be down, to have surgery, to have to lay up for 6 weeks, and then, get 2 calls 2 days in a row, and I made over $1,000 on each kid. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the process of which the principle of myEcon is so powerful that nobody should take it for granted because, when we meet Saturday, I'm going to talk about these things and probably going to be on a personal to y'all because I hear from you guys. And so I know what we have. I know who we have. I know we have business people. I know we have career people. I know we have church people. But I want to get you, as Miss Yarbrough was a great example of how it all fits together. I think what she might have been saying or would say is that, yes, we empower her with enough, we empower you with enough, I guess, get enough guts to go ahead and move out all of your gifts and all of your talents and generate income. And I was reading about from this guy, and I forgot who it was. But anyway, Cordone. And I'm going to do some of that, save some of that, and share that with you guys on a video. But Robert Cordone says that you haven't built wealth until you learn how to earn and save. So earning is different from you going and making a check. He was talking about being able to take your gifts, talents, not only yours, but take proven systems. And when you take proven systems that work, you jump in there and you use them and make them work for yourself. So this is what people don't understand. myEcon is a proven system, and it actually works. So most of us jumped in there and said, hey, this system and this concept has already been created. I just want to get a piece of the pie and begin to create my wealth and use the tools that I need to sharpen my irons, okay? So with that being said, I want to give you two things tonight. We are getting ready, or we are already duplicating the training. So those of you who have been somehow lost in the shuffle or have felt like you've been disconnected or you really, really just haven't connected, this is a good time to jump in there and get connected because this is where we started. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about record keeping, but I'm saying this openly, but she'll have to confirm. Miss Yarbrough was actually supposed to do the training for me tonight. I didn't do her justice by getting her everything that she needed. So hopefully she'll come on next week. I love this leadership if she's available. and do the actual cash flow manager for you after that. Then we're going to continue to delve on over to the other software and go into credit education. So you don't want to miss, if you don't have to, you don't miss these trainings. And the fact that we got great leaders that's going to be helping me, because although I'm up, I'm not going to be doing it. The only reason I'm doing this tonight, because I don't think it's fair to give somebody at the last minute anything, unless it's Chris. Because if he hear this, he might get mad. But, okay, so 2 things I want you guys to go. You might, I don't want you to, I'm going to say this. You might need to take a middle of the year checkup on your W-4 forms. In case there are things that have changed. If you have gotten a raise, you need to look at your W-4 form and fill it out accordingly. You can also go to your IRS.gov. I gave you guys the link, and if anybody else finds that link and put it on there for the calculator, where you can actually calculate down, estimate to the dollar what you would owe on your taxes. So this is a good time, basically, for everybody to take a look, compare it to your check stub, look at your federal taxes on your check stub, and see if you're on point that you do not owe. I'm pushing for this because I have had myEconers from all around the world. I've serviced them with my tax services, and some of them are owing, and not owing a little bit, owing quite a bit. One of the things in the book, that information I'm sharing tonight, which is Ron Mueller, he says, you know, we're not really getting it if we are owing in. And although they're happy about it, I just still want us to get it. So we've been impressing upon you to understand this, making sure you understand, take it to your teams, be able to reteach this thing, or take one of our recorded videos and share it with them so they will understand that if it is not properly completed, then you can actually go in the hole. And that's not going to be nice to some people who don't have the finances saved or make the type of money on your job that you got that money that you could actually, oh my God, Latricia, give me this back. Latricia somehow asked to be the presenter. You guys got to take control, reclaim presenter role. Okay. So, all right. This again. Okay, hopefully you do. I don't know what happens there. But at any rate, as I was saying, take a look at your W-4 if you want to. This is a great time. If there's been any changes, some of you may have children who are turning 17 years old this year. You will need to change line G, or you will need to actually know that you're going to lose $1,000 in child tax credit. So that means that you would need to create $1,000 in tax deductions to offset what you're losing, okay? Either you can do that, or you can go to line G and you can put 0 there, or take off the child. If you got 4 and 1 is turning 17, then you want to calculate it for the 3 that you have left that will qualify, okay? The next thing is a predicament that I'm always in. The next thing that I'm always in is children. My children are college children, and so you may have some college children. Well, they may get jobs, or you're encouraging them to go to work, because yes, we need them to go to work. So I wanted to be able to tell you that when they go to work, it does not mean that they cannot be used as a dependent on your taxes. My content is not being shared. Okay. It's okay. Can you guys see? Somebody let me know if you can see this.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody wrote and said the content wasn't being shared. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't mean because they get a job, even if they're 14, 15, or 16, whatever, when you put them out to work, doesn't mean that they won't be on your taxes. But what it means is that there is a threshold in which they work, okay, and an amount that they make or can make, and you can still carry them, and then they can file a 1040 EZ form and don't claim themselves as dependents on their taxes, right? Don't claim themselves, but they will answer the question, or your tax preparer would know. Take it to your tax preparer. If you don't understand and you've been doing it yourself, I would get some help, okay? So what you do is let me go back. I'm stuttering because I'm getting messages that my screen, it must be somebody else's screen because everybody else so they can see it. Okay, here's the deal. You can still carry your children on your taxes. They can also file a 1040 EZ form, and the amount of federal taxes that they paid in, they can get back. If it's $200, get them little tykes, say $200 back. If it's $300 or whatever, get them their little $300 back, and you're going to still claim them and get all of the credits that they're eligible for. If they're in college, there's a threshold in which, yes, Chris, that's the one you should see. Y'all, I haven't changed the screen. I'm just talking now. So there's a threshold, and if your children make $10,350 or more, then that's when they cannot be carried on your tax return. That's for 2016, actually. So I'm sure it will increase by inflation next year, but just know to check that, and you can type that in online. You can just simply say, like, how much can you make before filing taxes, and you'll get a whole list, TurboTax or whatever, give you a great outline, or you can go to IRS and there's a chart that will actually show you that. So I just want to implement that in there because, we got to use wisdom, right? In the way we build wealth, we got to understand at the tax part so that we can save as much money as possible. So I got to look at that because my children are going to work, and I'm like, hey, we got to, y'all ain't gonna make no more than $10,000. I still want y'all on my taxes. And when they're in college, you can also use their the form, their 1098T form. That is the form in which you have financial aid. And so you get a chance to still carry that American Opportunities Credit or the Lifetime Learning Education Credit. So those are the things I just wanted to share. This is the middle of the year. Some of you guys, your kids are getting ready to graduate. You're going to need to know this thing ahead of time, okay? All right. Any questions? Any questions before we move on? Any questions? Okay. Well, I'm assuming there's a question. Y'all understood that little tidbit. So let's go into the final part of our training. And it is 6 easy ways to bulletproof your tax returns. Okay? And just six. I'm going to show you something now. I have not advanced the slide, you guys. I was just talking in. I did not the slide for what. Now I'm advancing the slide. So here we go. I wanted you guys to know that this information is available to you. Ms. Pace did not make it up. Over the years, I've connected to the resources that myEcon has had. I've gone to some workshops and that kind of thing. And so this is one of the easy ways of finding information. I encourage you guys to purchase your own book. It's a 200-page book, but I promise you it is as clear as mud. So how to obtain that, you can go to Ron Mueller, Home-Based Business, Tax Savings, type it in online, download your own book. You can write that off, but I'm sure you're going to have a whole bunch of questions for me that will probably be answered in this book, okay? I wanted to do this, and I always bring this. I'm going to tell you up front, this is not myEcon per se. It's not found in your back office or anything like that. It's out of the goodness of my heart, because after we share with you the great ways of tax deductions, there's a piece that you need to be prepared for. And for my team and what I do, I just bring that piece along because Team Vision has had a lot of people audited, or me, in my experience as a tax professional, I've had a lot of people audited but we've had a few people audited that are on the team, okay? Those that are on the team that do what is right, they pass. Those that are my customers who are in other home-based businesses, I'm not obligated to share this detail with them. I'm just their preparer. So they pass if they do, pass if they don't. I let them know just a few things, but if they want to continue to go out and sell products and don't get no financial education, that's on them. So if you're on this call tonight, count yourself privileged. If you are a member of myEcon, count yourself privileged, because this is only way that anyone will obtain me training on this and going to this extent is that you got to be a member. Okay. First is, when documenting deductions, be sure that you produce evidence that you incurred the expense, which is usually going to be a copy of your invoice or a notation in your scheduling calendar or daily diary. And also be sure that you can prove that you paid the invoice. So keep your cancel checks attached to your invoices for all expenses you are deducting on your tax return. Now, you know, guys, that we have the cash flow manager. That cash flow manager can actually take a picture of your invoice. And when it takes a picture of your invoice, it will save it for up to 4. One time I heard 3 years, one time I heard 4 years, one time I heard somebody say 5 years. The bottom line is you got several ways to back that up. You can take the picture, it goes on the server. You can actually download those things and put them in a file on your own computer and keep them as long as you want to keep them, okay? So there's one particular thing that you need to be cautious of when it says a copy of your invoice or notation in your scheduling calendar or daily diary. This is something that I have found has been a problem for myEconers, okay? Having invoices without proof that you paid the invoice. I would think that people had common sense to that, but everything's not common. And the one reason is that IRS will check you on that in the event that you were audited, because there's no proof that you paid it. So you're either going to get paid stamped on there. It's going to show your card where you paid it. You have a bank statement or something where that was paid, and you put it with your information to show that whatever it was that you were purchasing was paid. Say, for instance, you bought a computer, or you bought something major, okay, something major, and you particularly got an invoice for it. Well, that make sure that I got an invoice. Well, it's got to show that you paid it, because otherwise people could steal all day long from IRS because they have an invoice of $20,000. They can write that off, but hey, they never really paid it, or they could have canceled the order. Does that make sense, everybody? I don't know if y'all on mute, but if anybody want to talk back, you can. Hopefully it does on Group Me, okay? So the next, and make notes so we can take pictures. So we can communicate your question and answers and I will definitely answer those questions for you. All right. So let's take a look. The second one is, everyone who has an active home-based business should have a separate checking account for their business income and business expenses, even though it is technically not required. It's one of those things I told you guys in a video or in a training long ago. It's called best practices, okay? Best practices mean that it's not required, but it's best for you to do, so that you can keep your business income separated. That is, if you intend to make some money. It says, but you must know this: all deposits into your business account will be considered earned income, and that is taxable, unless your checkbook register annotation indicates otherwise. IRS frowns on the fact that if they're checking for your income and your income that you reported does not add up to be the same, okay? If you go over, that's great. But if you go under reporting, they're going to frown on that. So you have to be careful. This is the thing that happens in your regular bank account
when you really want to make money from your business, because it gets shuffled in there with your paydays and anything else that you're doing, and it's not clearly stated or defined. Unless you want to do extra work, take your bank statement and make highlights, and you make receipts and things like that in your book. So this is just one piece of the pie. Don't get tripped up over it. If you got an easy way to do it, just make sure you show it. Okay. Also, I want to mention here that if you are going to initiate a business income checking account, then know that there are some places that will require an EIN, some places do not. I found out in Monticello that our credit union requires EIN. That's where I went. Miss Lambert says that commercial bank did not require one. That's where she went. So guys, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Check around to the banks, because when you operate business, you don't have to have an EIN. But if that's the way you want to go for it, all right? And I just simply show you that at any bank, the reason they do this, because you can separate your register, and that's a little old fashioned, but that's the picture I found to give you guys a visual to help you understand, okay? Simplify things. All right. Now, let's take a look at 3, and we're moving right along. So, if children and or spouse in order to deduct wages, let's take a look at how that's done. Have or get an EIN number. Now, I'm going to have a discussion. If Miss Lambert is not on mute, I'm going to get her to make some discussion on this for me. Use a family member employment agreement. Okay, we pretty much taught some of you are going to need to have a copy to specify the duties they will perform, the amount you will pay them, etc. Okay? A, EIN number. B, use a family member employment agreement to specify the duties they will perform and the amount you will pay them. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions for me in a minute on this. C, document the work that, for example, they could turn in monthly or weekly calendar pages or timesheets on which they recorded the work they did and what days they did it on. D, pay them on a regular and consistent basis with a business check. Now, let me give you some verbiage on this. As you see, this is not written in stone, as long as you have something that is organized, that these children can sign off that they're your employee, you're paying them. D is very important because some of you will question me a lot of times because you are entering, when you go to Old Navy, you're entering pants I bought at Old Navy. You're entering haircuts. You're entering, just all kind of wild stuff that you're doing for your children. And the consistency is what we're looking for. So actually show your records to be regular payouts on a consistent basis as you would be an employee. So this does take a V8 moment. Always, this is part of transformation of the mind. Compare how you are as an employee and then mimic that with your family that you are employing in business. It's kind of simple, okay? So use the same method. Nobody comes in and tell you I bought you a skirt, bought you some shoes at Payless, and that's how you getting paid at Potlatch. Okay? So let's think. Why would you do that for your employees? So that's part of your mindset being transformed to a real business owner, which is what we're trying to get you to do. All right? And then it says pay them with a business check. Well, I'm going to have some discussion for Ms. Lambert after this, but I'm going to go on through with the tips, okay? Okay, we're still on 3. When children or your spouses or family members withhold and pay Social Security on Medicare taxes and Medicare taxes on adult family member employees 18 years and older. You may also be required to show that the amount you are paying your family members is reasonable. Now let's back up. I'm going to tell you to withhold or pay Social Security. These children can also end up, the ones that are 18 and above, can also end up being your contractors. Okay, just giving you some extra stuff. Because you can contract for up to $500 and don't have to pay any taxes in on them. They're responsible for their own taxes, and you can actually write off that $500, and you don't have to do a 1099. However, I just told you that your children have a threshold, or every American citizen that works, that earns income, has a threshold before they have to file their taxes. Under a 1099, you do file your taxes. People who are in church, if they work for the church, musician of the church, and they make $125, they actually have to file that on their taxes. I'm not getting into the details of that. That's just, trust me, you can go look it up. Now, those of you who do anything else and you get a 1099 for $600 or above, you're required to file it on your taxes. Now, the limitation for, before they start taking out your children or your parents don't have, like senior citizens, if you hire them, they don't have to pay in big taxes because their income is low. So this is a great income shifting way of paying your children who are over the age of 17, and they can still make up to $10,000 and look at the tax rate schedule, and they're not going to end up paying nothing on the taxes. And guess what? You wrote the $10,000 off, right? Lowered your tax liability, and you saved thousands of dollars, and you position yourself where they're not paying tax, and if they do, it's very little on what they earn. And so you can set them up as a 1099, but remember, if you do set up 1099s that high, you do have to report them to the IRS each year. Depends on how much money. Some of you that's high earners, $100,000 or more, and you're using income shifting, you probably won't mind doing the process. I have a client that does that. Y'all know, and I'm not calling his name, but he makes good money, and he doesn't mind doing it to save his dollars. Okay, he's not afraid. Now, this line that says you may also be required to show that the amount you are paying your family members is reasonable. Okay, this is sometimes people are trying to, I know I've had some of my clients who was like busting the cap. You know, we said you can take up to $6,300 per child. So then they got a little itty bitty baby that's running around. And so that baby, you saying you're paying $6,300 a year for that baby. Maybe you got 3 little babies. What are they doing? Okay. So what is advised for us is that we go and look online and see what the pay is for hiring babies as advertisement on your in your business. See if you can find information to compare the salary that would be given to a particular baby for commercials, things of that nature, and then make it reasonable. All right? Because if it's not reasonable for the duties that you have assigned them, or if you don't have a contract for them, then y'all know what's next. It's disallowed, and then they'll look at you as a total fraud. All right. I hope y'all taking notes so y'all can ask questions in the end. All right. You see, this is number 4. 6 easy ways to bulletproof your tax return. If your Schedule C shows your home-based business with a net loss for the year, an auditor may require you to prove that you are working toward making a profit. Profit intent is required in order to prove that you are in a legitimate business. Well, a business plan will cover that. A business plan can be an important part of your proof. So have a business plan, but be sure to have a specific type of business plan because this is very important. Those of you who are on my team, I think I visited Memphis. Also, we shared you a sample of a business plan. And actually, guys, I paid $200-something for this to be laid out for me, and I shared it with you guys for free. So don't let my labor be in vain. Y'all, you got business plan, and myEcon has the tools in place that will actually set your business up. So everybody, do not make this a mountain out of a molehill again. You can explain. I'm not going to go over that tonight. I would be happy. Somebody that's got it can get the email. Y'all put it on GroupMe that you want a copy of the email. And I think it's Mary. Maybe she'll volunteer to send you an email of hers or somebody that has one for me will send you a sample, and then make sure that you change it and make it yours. Okay? Very simple. myEcon has all the tools to prove that you're working your business, activity sheets, you've got your prospect, your software, everything is online that you could print out and send in event that you were audited. All right? Now, a tax audit. This is if you get audited. Never attend a tax audit in person. It's also a situation with y'all calling them in too, okay? Because when you're calling them and you're talking to them, you better know what you're talking about, and you better have some confidence. You can't be calling on the phone, talking to folks crazy, because they actually do part of your fate in their hands. I don't recommend challenging auditors because the atmosphere of an auditor, remember, their job, they're working for either the state or they're working for IRS. What do you think they're going to do? They're trained to trip you up. They're trying to make you overtalk yourself. They're trying to make it feel like you're lying, even if you are working a business. So I got this picture right here that says this customer is never right. Keep that in mind. It's tax office. I've had some people that not myEconers busted their way right on up to the tax office of that, and you know, they found some kind of favor out of it. I was surprised, but some of them didn't find. Some person told me that they still didn't get the $1,000 they promised me they were gonna send me. I said, "Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do." All right, because I didn't advise them to go walking up in that office either. And they did not know what they were talking about to begin with. So this is where you solicit professional help. That's all it's saying is that if you know EAs, CPA, tax attorneys, give them a call, because some of them will go in and understand this. By next year, I will be an EA. I'm not sure if I want to talk on all of my customers' behalf yet, but I will be an EA. And I'm getting myself to where I can go on a customer's behalf and offer those services for auditing. But I'll be honest with you guys, I don't want to talk to them either. But I know my rules. Okay. 6 and final. Did I say 6 and final? Or did I get that out of order? Hold on a minute, guys. Oh, okay, yes. I am okay. Our last one is just for you to understand that you don't have to fear an audit. Okay? The bottom line, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. If all your deductions that you claim are legal, and if you kept necessary records, an audit will simply be an unavoidable inconvenience. But we've made it to where you can take the time, and the software is so simple, you can get your children, employ them in business, and get them to enter your information. So some of you, I know the kids don't like it. Y'all, I'm a great example of having children that don't want to do this, all right? But I pull them by the ear, the nose, and the feet and toes and said, you don't have a choice because you getting my money. But it will not be something to be feared. So I do want you to relax. See those two guys? They're relaxed. When you're armed and dangerous with your tools, you have no reason to be afraid, but you also don't have a reason to be cocky either and arrogant with them. Just do what you got to do, provide what you need to provide, and go forward. And you also have an opportunity that if they disallow your deductions, you can actually get assistance. You can get free help. You can go on IRS and they have advocates that you can get. They have to help you in an in an audit. I'm not sure about the state, but the state of Arkansas hits a lot of people scandalously. I'm not sure if there's free audit services for that. I do have opportunity to share audit services with you guys that you will have to pay for. I can just say you better be doing your emergency funds, because to get a tax lawyer, it costs. So it just costs. and it's worth it in the end. I've had last week I had a call. There's a lady who's been doing her business, and she provides nursing services. She's from the great state of Texas. Well, they hit her for 2 or 3 years, and they got her paying $60,000 back. She needs to go ahead and pay that $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 to a tax attorney to get them to go in and hopefully lower. But here's the deal: in the interview, and these are audit triggers. In the interview, I found out that this lady, actually, her tax preparer had her down for like 50,000 miles a year, anywhere from 50, and one time had her down for 75,000 miles for one of her years. So that was a trigger on her mileage itself. So they disallowed everything else, and I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who that. Hold on, you guys. I don't know who did her taxes and why they did her like that, but they were hooking her up. She didn't have proof of those miles. So there are some things that will trigger, and the thing that triggers is when you have excessive deductions in an area, and that will trigger an audit. But the percentage that you have is this: 1% out of 100, 1 out of 100, the computer actually chooses people that they audit. Outside of you having excessive deductions somewhere in those main areas like meals and entertainment, that's extravagant deductions there, and then excessive mileage that doesn't fit your business type, then what happens is that will automatically trigger. Otherwise, you are chosen for an audit randomly. And get this, people, auditing randomly is chosen right after April 15th or whatever the deadline is. So there are some people that actually will wait until October. Now, don't none of y'all wait on me, but they will wait until the October deadline because it is believed that they're less likely to be looking for people to audit during that late in the year. Okay? And finally, this is when auditing is a good thing. Okay, out of all of that I'm talking about, I'm sure you like, huh? How can auditing be a good thing? Well, let's take a look at it. If the result of your audit is no change, your chances of being audited again have significantly decreased. How about that? So if you do go through an audit, you pass the thing, your chance of getting audited again is actually covered by the law. The law protects taxpayers from multiple audits over similar issues when prior audits have confirmed the accuracy of the prior returns. Isn't that pretty cool? So all y'all do is get through the first one. Be good, get through the first one, and you're protected from having multiple audits. Now, it don't never hurt to be ready, but you are protected. Okay. Now, I'm going to open the lines. If you is in the background, I didn't ever mute you out anyway, but if you have some questions, before you have questions, I'm going to do this. Miss Lambert, are you there?
Miss who?
Miss Lambert, is she still there? She may be on mute.
Can you hear me?
I do now. Okay, I do now, Miss Lambert.
Okay.
Okay, there was one part on here that is advised about getting the EIN. You guys, I'm introducing Miss Lambert because you guys have heard it before. Everybody needs a Miss Lambert in their lives. Y'all, she has become so popular among you guys. Miss Lambert, I bet you never thought you could be so popular. Being audited would make you such a popular icon, right?
Somebody had to be the ultimate sacrifice.
Okay, I can't hear you. Say it again.
I said somebody had to be the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, I think you were it. And you want to, that's okay. You can stay right there. I think everybody agree tonight that you can stay right there in this seat. But but when one of the steps it talks about hiring the children and having the EIN in place, as well as the other things that he talked about. Now, my memory, tell me, do you actually have an EIN number for your business?
No, I do not.
Okay, I did not think that you did. And there was one part on there that talked about, uh, let me go back. Let me take the slides back because I'm also remembering. Pretty good slide, huh, guys? Okay, we're going to go back. And there was another question. Okay, so you didn't have an EIN number. You did use a family member employment agreement, but tell me, and specific duties, tell me what you used to show your grandson's pay in your business.
Okay, before he turned 18, I simply had him to do a receipt. What I presented to IRS was the receipt that matches my agreement. The agreement that he signed, stating that he would be paid, X amount of dollars and how often. Those receipts match that agreement.
Okay, all right. So, okay, did everybody hear that? So she used the receipt book, is what we're saying, and she had her agreements in place. Seemed like there was one more, but no, that's it. It was right there because I didn't want everybody to think they just had to jump up and get the. Of course, now this is a professional, the top dog, but I'm saying you don't have to pass out and die because you don't have an EIN number, and there are ways. And I believe that Ms. Lambert, one of the reasons that she could actually pass, she's going to talk about that. She's going to bring her all famous record keeping book meeting on Saturday so you guys can get a visual aid and see what she did when she actually pulled in her audit book together and sent it in state. And she got a letter and she was found with no fault. Okay? Now, again, do we have any questions tonight over anything that I went over? Come on, let's shoot them.
I got a question.
Okay, go right ahead. Who am I speaking with?
This is Scotty Wingfield out of Texarkana, Texas.
Okay, go right ahead, Scott.
It's kind of like a two-part question. But number one, when it as far as the business checking account, or some states give you a hard time about setting those up. But what I wanted to find out, what is the difference between, in our back office, we have a printout of the commissions that we've earned with myEcon.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the difference between having that as proof of our income with myEcon or a business account? I mean, a business checking account.
Okay.
What would be the difference, or what would be better about having the business checking account, or basically that's what.
That is absolutely a good question. Really, remember, these are just best practices, but not a requirement. As long as you have your proof. And see, you're like an advanced student because you take the initiative to even look in your back office and been looking ever since you've been a member. There are some people that never even knew where to look for the year-to-date end of how much they made with myEcon. Okay. Also, so that is quite fine as long as you can match the deposits. But when they get bigger, if they cross over, some deposits, they make sure your bank statements can show a name on there on where it came from. But if you're making cash deposits, say for instance, myself, I have cash accrual that I use. I have to write down receipts. I have to log in my cash flow manager. I even use it for my LLC. I have to make notation for that money to be identified. Okay, Miss Yorko, she's the same one. So the key is, yes, ma'am, I'm gonna let you in a minute. The key is identifying where that cash is coming from. Now, when you make $600 or more from myEcon, you're going to have a 1099. So that's going to be your proof that you're making money. But there are some people on here who do other things that they are making deposits from. myEcon is just one of the pieces of the pies for them. And so when you start carrying big money and things like that, then the business count separation for you. It doesn't show that you're more serious or not, but you just need to be able to differentiate what is your business income from your other earned income, so they won't lump it together. Yes, Miss Lambert.
You said it.
Okay.
Sometimes, like my business is more than myEcon. So myEcon, yeah, you can keep that record. That's separate, and you can print that out. But sometimes when you're getting money from other areas, then, you may want to do, an extended record keeping system, whatever, works for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's right.
And,
Did we answer that for you, Scott?
oh, you definitely answered it for me. Like I said, I've, checked with a couple of banks about a business account, and it's always, they kind of put you through. I mean, I know if it has to be done eventually, but they kind of put you through some changes. I don't know, especially in Texas, I don't know what it is about having a business account. They act like it's such a big deal or whatever. It's not like opening up a regular checking account.
Well, then don't worry about it. As long as you can make a distinction. When you go higher, I would not. Okay, everybody on here needs to know where they are in business. I wouldn't start there. Sometimes people are doing things ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
I have gradually, there's a need for this. I promise, Scott, it may not be for you. But I have gradually, as much knowledge as I obtained, I knew where I was. So I have gradually matured or grown as a business owner. That's why I don't put things too soon on people who don't have their first works in place, because there are some people that have gotten the cart before the horse. Believe it or not, we've got people that do other businesses, got other money, but I can see that their strategy and their system is very, very rigid. And they're myEconers. They're on my team. But their system is very, very rigid. Their confidence is lacking because they're not solid. You got to know where you are. The money looks big. In business, it looks big. It looks wonderful when people tell you how much money you can make doing this, doing that, and you get to going off over here, you get to going off over there. But this is why I always tell everybody, learn myEcon, because we're going to put your system in place that's going to be a foundation for the rest of what you're doing, and you won't be so haphazardly dealing with your money, getting the cart before the horse. So there are some people that don't need a business bank account now because they ain't made but $8. They ain't made but $2. Okay? They don't even plan on making no money because they don't tell nobody about it. They don't care. They don't have a love. They haven't gotten the value. And so they don't need a business bank account for myEcon. Maybe they need it for whatever else that they're doing, and this will help there. But if you're that person who is growing in myEcon, you don't have to jump out and get all that in place now. Just know where you are, and as you grow, these things are in order for your growth. I had to get there. Okay? Any other questions? I love them. Any questions? Any questions? Do not leave the line, and y'all have questions.
With everybody acting shy, I might as well get it. I might as well get it in. I got one more. When you like when we're presenting the business to people and everything, when we tell them that, well, you can hire your children and everything like that, how do we get across to them that sometimes they think you got to learn the business. And I think a lot of people, when they first get in, they learn about network marketing, things of that nature. They don't really think about the technicalities involved in being able to take your tax write-offs and things of that nature. How do you get that across to them, or do you just have to get them to realize they need to go to training? Or it's a simple process, but it's not a simple process, especially if you haven't done it before. But they have to have a willingness to learn. Is that the main thing?
Well, I think so. And I'm going to say this, Scott. On my end, as a leader and knowing that taxes is serious, I don't embellish taxes like some of the leaders in myEcon does, because I think it is a misconception that makes people go think that they can just write off everything, do anything, don't keep good record. I had people this tax season that were in myEcon that actually started trying to argue with me because I was saying, listen, I'm not going to use this because you haven't done da 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 da, and it doesn't make sense. You being in business for 11, 12 months and you haven't produced $1, but you're trying to write out $40,000 worth of deductions, right?
Wow.
Thank you. I've had that because we got high earners who are coming into business and they're hearing about this opportunity of income shifting. They have careers, but they're not intending on being, I know that if I know that, IRS knows that. And so not on my watch will you be a customer of mine. And I just enter it in just to be entered in. Yes, the rule says you don't have to make a profit. That is in relationship to the amount of deductions that you carry to offset the money that you made. So I would say this, a best practice is make money in your business if you're going to use it to write it off. So you need to figure out if you want to make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 additional income, that will look better at your growth annually, even if you had $200,000 salary job. Okay, it just makes sense. It just makes common sense. And so we can't really peg the associates and how they will operate when they become our associates. All we can do is be the best that we can be. Get them the information, get it before them. This is why we're doing a lot of recording. If they don't get it, that's their problem. That's not us. That's not our problem. So I used to worry about that, but I'm really getting this, and I'm getting it from Brian Bean, June Collier, everybody. This is why we're recording, because now if I make the sacrifice, like tonight, all our meetings, all the things that you do for your team, you don't get paid for it. He's raised up a business where it's out of the goodness of our heart. Because if you don't enroll somebody in myEcon, if you don't buy your products, if you don't sell your product, Miss Pace don't get paid, right? But out of the goodness of our heart, we follow our leader and we share this information. So people ought to respect that. And they should respect the time that has been put out there instead of calling you and holding you up for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours trying to understand something that could have been understood if they would have been prioritized their schedule to fit the trainings in. But again, we don't have any control over that. So as you grow your team and grow your leaders, love everybody, understand where everyone is, continue to work, continue to record it. It is there. When they feel like they want to use it the proper way, they will get involved. I hope I answered that. Okay.
Be good. You got an amen from me.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Comments? I hope you post your nuggets out about the training. All right, you guys, this is recorded. Next week, we're going to go to the cash flow manager and actually put some entries in to help you guys continue. For summertime, y'all got some write-offs on these trips, but you got to do business right. So I am soliciting the help of one of our top leaders, strong leaders who knows how to get that done. And she's going to be able to tell y'all next week and show you how to enter it and notate what it is that you have done into your cash flow manager properly and be able to write it off. All right? Okay. The final thing is this Saturday at in Monticello at the Hampton Inn, we have a training. I'm excited about it again. I'm sorry, y'all. I just boil up with all this stuff in me. But we are having pizza, popcorn, and drinks because we're going to do something very strenuous in our meeting. You don't want to miss it. You have the opportunity to bring guests, bring your spouses if they have not been in the meeting. But again, this is the year that we want you to be transformed, to be real business owners on whatever level that it is, and make this work with whatever else that you're doing. And so we're going to bring some very, very good information forward. I solicited the help of some more leaders that are going to be here. And let's go to another level. Meet me at the Hampton Inn in Monticello. I don't care where you live. If you'll drive to Hot Springs, Conway, Memphis, all roads lead to Southeast Arkansas. Because is there anything good in what? Nazareth? Yes, it is. Ask Mr. Darrell Dandridge. He didn't even want to come down here. And he has been blessed ever since he made this trip to Monticello. Thank you guys for listening tonight. God bless and good night.
Good night.
Good night.